What a day. What a day. Whoa! Hey, Mr. Foxy. How you doing, buddy? Huh? I know. You can probably tell that I was not feeling so good. Aw. You're such an adorable little creature. Hey! Hi there, folks. Oh. Hi, everybody. It's our Detroit here. The doctor is in. You know, I've been helping a lot of people out on Vrchat as of late. Not just for the Vrchat 101s and things like that, but I've also been helping them with their mental health. Yeah. Here on Vrchat, mental health can be strained, can be kind of a problem, but the other thing too is that it also can be helped as well. You see, here in Vrchat, your mental health is extremely important. Some people use it to, some people use Vrchat to come on here and work on their mental health. But here comes the problem. Mental health is not therapy. And here's the thing, though. Some people think that they actually know everything there is about mental health and all these different things, and they think, I can diagnose you because, I saw this one YouTuber do this stuff. No. Many people get it wrong. Very wrong. So in this episode of Vrchat 101, I, who have actually had some mental health training on a few Discord servers in the past, I'm going to show you folks out there some of my techniques on how to help somebody whose mental health is very messed up. And maybe it'll get you your friend back, or even make you be your old self again. Now, I know that we've done a lot of videos like, it's okay to cry, how to handle being canceled when you're innocent, and also how to save a life. This time, it's how to help somebody who's going through some mental health issues in a little segment I like to call Do This, Not That, Mental Health Edition. And of course, Mr. Foxy's gonna help me with this too. Roll the intro. So in our past videos, we have talked a lot about, things that affect mental health, but we never really touched subjects or really touched bases with what the heck mental health is. And well, it's our well-being. The thing about mental health that a lot of people don't understand is that everybody is different, and they're in a different, state of mental health. Some are, ripe and ready for the next day. Others are kind of indifferent, and it's kind of wishy-washy where they stand. And then there are some who just get anxiety-ridden and just fear for everything. And of course, we have the ones that get wicked angry the one time that you ask if they're okay. In fact, that's something rather interesting. Saying the phrase, "Are you okay?" can sometimes, it can sometimes trigger some sort of emotional response. It could even trigger, a bunch of different emotions. But here's the thing. Every day on Vrchat, people's mental health is either on the up and up, or it's getting worse and worse and worse every second that they actually come on here. And some people, like Ed back there, are basically what they are. But here's the thing. The truth of the matter is that mental health is something that we all need in order to survive, not only in life, but also like on the internet and also here in Vrchat. The trick, though, is knowing what to do and what not to do. Because I'll let you guys in a little secret. In fact, let me get a little closer. Not everybody is trained in mental health. In fact, something that you think is going to work on, your friend is actually going to backfire on them really badly. It's the case. It's truly the case sometimes. But above all, if we can catch those signs really quickly and also put you guys on the right track to figure out, how to handle somebody whose mental health is a little bit on the left side right now, then you might be able to help them, put them back on track, and also make their mental health a little bit better. So now, as we always do here, let's go to my red board and I will show you some things to do and some things not to do. So let's go over to my red board right about now. Here we are. These are a couple of the don'ts and do's that I was able to come up with to kind of explain a little bit about what you should and what you shouldn't do when you're having mental health problems. Now, let me explain something. This list might differ from yours, because here's the real deal. Nobody in this world is really a true mental health expert. Now, some say they are, but you know what? Oftentimes they're not. So there's going to be a lot of roadblocks that are going to kind of get in your way. But let's go ahead and get right to this, and we'll start with the don'ts, because I think if we get the don'ts out of the way first, then in my opinion, I think you're going to have a lot better time. So the first don't here, especially like when you're dealing with mental health issues, don't use public lobbies. On Vrchat, there are so many different public lobbies that are just chock-a-block full of some of the scum, some of the squeakers, and sometimes some of the best people that you'll meet here on Vrchat. But here's the big problem. Public instances usually turn into more like a meme factory than anything else. Because you know what the interesting thing is? Most public instances, it depends on the world that you're on. For example, if you're on a world like, say, the Black Cat, for example, you're really only going to find a handful of people. And if your mental health is really bad, you do not want to go there. In fact, when you go to a public instance, you're really going to be meeting these type of people most of the time. First, you'll meet the ones that think World War II hasn't ended.
Racial words, racial words, racial words, racial words, C-word, C-word, N-word, N-word, C-word, N-word, 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 Minecraft, 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 chicken jockey, chicken jockey, chicken jockey, chicken jockey, hey, is my mic working, is my mic working, is my mic working, is my mic working, is my mic working?
You might even meet those Freddy Fazbear kids, who are like really, really tall. We don't have any footage of any of them, thank goodness. You might also meet that one person who can't handle a simple situation.
Yeah, I'd like to help you, but my astrology sign is out of season, so I'm afraid I can't help you. I mean, my astronomical sign is supposed to be under the Big Dipper. I am a weaseless, so sorry, I can't help.
And whatever you do, don't you dare take mental health advice from an e-girl or an e-boy. It's bad.
Oh look, Are you having a hard time with your mental health? Well, I can help. You know what? For a little money, I can riz the mental health out of you. Oh, yeah. You know what? You don't need therapy or anything. All you need is just these muscles.
Ooh. Oh. Ooh, that was cringy. Ooh. I haven't felt this much cringe in years. Oof. Oof. Okay. I feel very sticky. 1 second. I think I need to take a shower really quick. 'Cause I'm 900 miles from my home. Bonjour. Antoine, what are you doing in the bathroom? I am a coyote. Canines always follow their friends into the bathroom. Ugh, that's real coyotes, not the ones from Mobius, Antoine. Stop. And we're back. Sorry about that. Had to wash the cringe off of me. So going to public instances is a big time no-no. The next thing is hide from your friends. When you have issues with mental health, you need your friends. You need them to help you out. Because the real deal comes from the fact that you may not know if a friend of yours actually has dealt with mental health issues in the past. In fact, I'll let you guys in a little secret. I got a little too close to the camera there, so let's back up. I'll let you guys in a little secret though. Most people are not experts in the mental health area, but it always helps to have somebody who has a little bit of training or has a better understanding for it. This is because they probably are suffering from the same thing you are, or they have a friend who also has something else. So, for example, let's say maybe that you have stress at work, or maybe you have stress in general. You know, adulting can be a very, very tricky task at some points. So therefore, if you know some different stress tactics that can reduce stress or, help them see the light of day a little bit better, then use those. Also, one other thing too. Don't flaunt the fact that you have some mental health stuff. Now, yes, I have said in past videos that I have a little bit of mental health training, but I don't say which area I have it in, because I kind of have a little bit of experience in almost all the fields. So I can help in certain ways, but it's also good to help to have a few extra people, but not too many though, and I'll get to that in a second. And then finally, and this one here, this is the most important don't end it all. There have been so many people who, as soon as they have a mental health crisis, they immediately think that they should end it. I'm here to tell you something though. Don't end your life, okay? I know that mental health can sometimes bring on suicidal thoughts, but remember what I said way back in my How to Save a Life video? Suicide's never the answer. Suicide is never the answer, because there's a lot of people who love you. I love you, your friends love you, your parents love you, even your aunt and uncle, your entire family loves you. I know sometimes things can be very stressful, but ending it will make things even worse for your friends and for yourself. In fact, you know what? Down here below, I'm going to go ahead and put the suicide hotline up. So if you're watching this video right now and you have thoughts of suicide, call this number right now. Well, actually, yeah, this way. Call this number right now, stop the video, and talk to them. In fact, you know what? Let's pause for a second while the ones who are having suicidal thoughts call that number right now. Oh, you're back. Okay. Excellent. Well, welcome back. So don't do any of these things. It'll actually make your mental health a lot worse. So now let's do the do's. These are the most important things to remember and the most important things to work with. First things first is, of course, ask for help. It's always important to ask somebody for help, especially when you're having issues with mental health, whether it be depression or anger or whatever. Because, let me explain something. You can't work this out on your own. Working things out on your own is only going to compound the problem. In fact, I'll tell you something interesting. Let's say, for example, that you're having depression, and you try to work it out on your own. Well, you'll be fine for the first part of it, but as you go down the line, you're gonna end up kind of going through some ups and downs and all arounds, and it's gonna be more like a roller coaster ride than anything else. But getting that straight path to the end of the tunnel is never gonna come. That's why it's always best to ask your friends for help. Because you know what? Your friends are going to come in handy. And remember what I said back in the How to Handle Being Canceled When You're Innocent video? Those people who have the yellow in their names are the true blue ones, and they will come to you almost instantly. Especially when they see that you're having an issue. So always make sure to have them. Always make sure to keep them close by. Use private lobbies. Now, we've already mentioned about public lobbies. Private lobbies are a lot better. These are like the Invite Plus, Group Plus, well, actually, excuse me, not Group Plus. Sorry, let me try that again. Invite Plus, Invite, Friends, or even Friends Plus. This way, it's only the people that you know. If you just want your close friends and nobody else, then just get rid of the plus, and you'll be fine. And using these private lobbies is a great way too, because you will actually get to, control the situation. And you'll get to control things and figure out who you want on there and who you don't. Because you know what? Despite the fact that we do have our true blue friends, there are sometimes a few friends that I hate when that thing does that. Anyway, there are sometimes those friends that we don't want, in our instance because, well, let's just say that some of them might be a little bit unstable themselves. And not in a good way. Because, see, here's the thing about it. Remember how I said back over from the don't hide from your friends, and that, some of your friends might have a little bit of mental health training and stuff? One of the biggest no-nos, and I probably should have put this here, is this. Too many experts spoil the pot. See, everybody wants to help you. But the problem is that if there's too many people that are like, saying how they want to help or giving you examples of what they went through, you're going to easily shut down. So that's why it's always the best to make sure that there's no more than maybe two. Maybe no more than two people in there who can explain the situations a little bit better, but also can actually, get through to you. Because if you have more than just two people, then things are going to get a little bit hairy, a little bit out of whack, because then you got other people who are waiting to respond, and that could make for a really long session. So I would say probably allow for 2 extra people to back up the first one, if they need backup. And then here, quiet worlds for one-on-one. What's a quiet world, you may ask? Well, again, a quiet world is something that, you go to. Could be any map out there that has some beautiful aesthetics, but is something that doesn't really have as much sound. Doesn't even have like a music backing track, or, it's kind of like a hangout world. In fact, some of the vaporwave maps that are actually here on Vrchat are really good for it. Are really good for stuff like that. But you can also go to places that even mimic diners and all that kind of stuff to kind of help you out. But now, here's something else that I'm going to show you. Now, I'm going to put the camera in a different spot. Let me see. Give me one quick second. I'm going to set the camera up in a different spot. One sec. Okay, so I set the camera up in a very interesting way. Now, as you can see, I'm actually getting closer to the camera itself, because let me tell you something. This is something that you don't want to do. In fact, let's lower the camera down just a hair. And there we go, that's better. One of the biggest things that you don't ever want to do, especially when you're actually helping somebody with their mental health, is don't corner them. What I mean by that is simple. There are different corners of the different map that you go to. And the thing is this. If you have two people on both sides and you have this one right here, it can be claustrophobic. Because even though your intentions are good, and even though this person's intentions are good, and so is the other one, it's going to make you feel very claustrophobic. And it's also going to make you feel very uneasy. Never, ever, ever corner somebody unless they are resisting your help. Because believe me, the more that they actually resist, the bigger the problem it could be. And of course, one of the other great things to actually do if you're having mental health issues, that if you have a pet or a stuffed animal, is give them some love. Give them some love, whether it be some pets, play with them, scritch them behind their ears, or, you know, just lay down with them. Sometimes a little bit of that little bit of loving is all you need. But that's gonna do it for this episode of Vrchat 101. I hope that you guys will figure out some different ways and some better ways to help out with your mental health, and also to help other people as well. If you guys want to see more of this, make sure you hit the like button, don't forget to comment, and also subscribe, and click on that bell and turn the notifications on so you'll know whenever I upload. So I'll see you folks next time, and until then, for Foxy and I, take care, and keep your mental health in good shape.